Welcome, plant sale volunteers. We're gonna get started. I know it looks cool for me to use a microphone talking to 5 of you, but we're also recording this. So the microphone helps the people online here. This year's plant sale is gonna be bigger, better than ever. I think there's like 50,000 plants sale this year. Last year there were like 35 or 40, I think, but yeah, he's working super hard to pull it together, and we're very grateful that you're gonna help us the days of the event to pull it off. So I'm gonna get started just with some stuff that volunteers need to know to prepare themselves for the day. And then Laura's gonna take over with the educational component.
Yep. I look like a ventriloquist online because I can't figure out how to make it look at you, Kim. So Kim's talking. I'm going to show her to you guys, but keep going, Kim.
Laura, I could get a sock puppet, and while you're talking, we could have a sock puppet going.
Love it.
Okay, this looks like tiny writing, but don't worry about that because I'm going to send out a PDF to all of you with the same information in it. But first and foremost, you need to know that when you arrive for your shift plant sale, I would like you to check in at the tool shed. Why is there partial sunlight bullets on my, that's very odd.
Partial sunlight bullets.
Yeah, do you see that, Laura? Check in at the tool shed and then parts.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I think I added that in somehow accidentally.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
That's instructions on how to grow a volunteer.
Yes.
So if you want a super active volunteer, you want full sun, right? And if you're looking for maybe some clerical opportunities, 1 or 2 hours a week, maybe that's full shade, right? Check in at the tool shed. I will be available. Claudia will be available Friday. Other volunteers like Amy are help checking in people on those days as well. So there'll be people there to check you in, give you a reflective vest. The area in which you're volunteering. Definitely remember to dress comfortably, and for the weather, wear comfortable shoes. Unlike me last year, I wore the most ridiculous shoes. They were tennis shoes, but the seam kept like rubbing my heel. It was hideous. So wear shoes that you already know are comfortable. And then up at the farm, it's quite flat. There's not a lot of shade, and the temperatures are predicted to be pretty cool in the mornings, like 40s, and then in the 60s in the afternoon. So we recommend dressing in layers, and definitely wear your volunteer name tag so that guests know who you are. We'll also provide some reflective vests for volunteers. We also want you to prepare for your personal needs. So for a lot of people, that means bring a water bottle, wear sunscreen, or bring rain gear, or whatever is needed for the weather to take care of your personal self. And then also, if anyone's working a long shift or gets hungry, they're providing boxed lunches for volunteers. The box lunch consists of a vegetarian or a turkey sandwich, bag of carrots, cookie, bag of chips, and an apple. If you have dietary restriction and cannot eat any of those things, please plan accordingly, because that's what we'll have available. We want you to know your limitations and understand your commitment. So last year, a bunch of people were leaving their shifts early, which caused some confusion because we were not aware that was going to happen. So please stay for your whole shift, or let us know that you're not able to ahead of the time. And then finally, be flexible. So we have a lot of events here. Almost none of them go exactly as planned, because events are crazy fluid things, right? And so if we notice that we have a whole bunch of people bottlenecked in one area, we may ask our volunteers to move around or do a different thing for a little while. So just be flexible and know that we're mostly here to have a good time and help out our guests with this plant sale. Laura, will you forward the slide, because this is not
Amazing.
working for me. Super. Parking and entry, this is important. How many of you came in through the farm entrance today, or did you do 3 Mile Drive? Farm entrance? That one?
Yeah.
We're gonna have you come in through the new gate. So before this farm entrance, just on the other side of the Spring Keeper Meadow, there's a new entrance. It looks really construction-y right now, but don't let that fool you. It will be open the days of the sale. We want you to come in through the new entrance. And there'll be someone at that gatehouse to let you in. And then parking, if you were here last year, parking will be the same as last year. We'll have you drive around down to that grassy overflow area and park down in the overflow area. We will have a shuttle running for volunteers to pick you up at overflow and bring you back up to the circular drive here. So we're expecting you to park a ways away, but we don't expect you to hike for 3 hours to get back here. So park down there and then we'll shuttle you up.
I guess if you're coming like down, is it 82nd Street, is it past the farm entrance or is it before the farm?
The question was, if you're coming down 82nd Street, is the new entrance before what you may recognize as the entrance, or is it after? It will be before. So just as you turn, if you were turning onto 82nd from 41, Spring Keeper Meadow is right there, and there's a tiny parking lot for Spring Keeper Meadow. The entrance is just past that parking lot. And so these first 3 slides here that I'm going over today, you're gonna get all of this in a PDF, including this map here, where I have a black arrow pointing at what has been known as our entrance, saying don't come in here. And then the big red arrow is where we do want you to come in.
Oh. Another question, the setup today, like Thursday, can we just come in the regular way or?
For setup day, come in the main entrance and come drive on it. Unless Sharon has other instructions. I'll get back to you for sure on that one. I'll give you a definitive answer. With the construction that's going on all around us, not me, some people smarter than I am are trying to figure out the best way to move our traffic around. So for now, the answer is come in through the main entrance, 3 Mile Drive. Will you forward the slide again, Laura?
I will.
And then you're also gonna get a map of the plant sale. So that, like last year, there'll be a sandwich board at the front with a map for anyone to walk past and see. I'm sure there'll be printed copies on site, and then you'll all get emailed the copies so you can see the general layout of the event. They are moving things around a little bit this year. So this year, Chef Beth and Chef Nikki will be in the summer kitchen making food that will be for sale. And that is also where you're gonna go to pick up your boxed lunch, if you choose to eat here. And all you have to do is show your volunteer badge to get the boxed lunch. And then we'll have people enter where we were not letting them enter before, right? Because they're not gonna walk around the farm to get into the sale this year. They're gonna enter by the tool shed and then walk down into the sales area. Checkout will be in the picnic shelter again, like it was last year. So the flow is just sort of reversed from what it was last year. Last year, we had them go around the barn into the event. This year, we're gonna have them go into the event and then around the barn to exit.
Kim, there's a question online about where the Master Gardener booth will be located this year.
That's an excellent question. And I believe this year we would like to not have a booth so much as to have master gardeners walking around and mingling with their master gardener name tag on, so that people can identify that you're an expert and knowledgeable. And if you don't have the answer, you can find out the answer. So rather than a stationary group, we would like you to be moving around.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Are there more questions?
Simple question, if we have a vest, we just wear our own then?
The question was, if you have your own reflective vest, should you just wear your own? Yes, please. That's great.
Cause you're probably gonna run out of things.
I also have a reflective vest. Don't look at me like that. I live across the street from an elementary school. I help out sometimes. Yeah. All right, well then I'm gonna let Laura talk about the smart stuff.
That's all of this is smart stuff. Okay, so this is kind of funny. I haven't used this room in a while. So hi everyone in the room. I'm going to be talking at my laptop over here. My name is Laura. I manage adult education here and have a master's in horticulture. And so I just want to give you some basic knowledge about plants, the plants we're going to have there, some things you might be asked, some things you might be wondering about, just so you feel a little bit more prepared to connect the plants and the people during the day. So to get started, I'm just curious, whoop, um, how many people here are Master Gardener volunteers? In the room, online, raise your hands, put it in the chat. Oh, we've got one. How many of you would say you're pretty advanced gardeners? Anyone? Okay, this is just to help me calibrate what I'm talking about. Thank you. All right. So this is a humongous plant sale. We have Kim mentioned 50,000 plants. Is that right, Kim?
About that.
Yeah. And so that's over 2,000 plant varieties that we have in 15 categories. So we have annual plants. So those are plants that live for just one growing season. We have ferns, we have herbs, we have hostas, lilies, native plants, ornamental grasses, peonies, rock garden plants, not actual whole rock gardens. That's what my slide looks like. Roses, perennials for shade and for sun. Those are plants that live longer than one growing season. Vegetables and fruits, woody shrubs, trees, and vines. And then kind of new this year is zone 5 plants. So you can look at all those plants on our website. That link will be active when you get this PDF. So take a gander at all the plants that are available to just kind of familiarize yourself with what's there. So just some tips and tricks. Plants have names, right? Um, so what we generally think of is the common name. So that's like, you know, oh, let's see, a petunia. Petunia is a common name. What's another common name? Anybody? Daisy. Any other thoughts? Those are the names we usually use. But when we're at a plant sale like this, there's going to be some other, oops, sorry about that. There's going to be a scientific name, which is the genus and species. And you can tell what those are because they're usually in italics. So for instance, Salvia splendens, that's a scientific name. Another name you might see is cultivar. So that is just shorthand for saying cultivated variety. It's a kind of plant that we've bred to be a certain way, to have a certain color flower or disease resistance. And those are in single quotations. So you see in the example there, Paeania tropical isle. Another thing you might notice in the plant names is that there's trademarks. We do a lot of trademarking of plants. That's a whole nother story. We actually patent plants as well. So you might see that TM there with some of the plant names. So that's just to help you if people are looking for something in particular and they're wondering, how to match up the name, what the different parts mean. The other thing I want to share with you, that scientific name up at the top, Salvia splendens, that is botanical Latin, and it's not a real language. So I just want you to I want to encourage you to be confident in just throwing it out there, a pronunciation, or just not knowing how to pronounce it. Um, Americans usually have a certain way of pronouncing them. Europeans have another way. Um, But just kind of do your best when talking to customers about it. It's very likely that they don't know how to pronounce them easy either. So that's names. And again, common names are the ones we most often think of, but they can be confusing. So if you're familiar with the red geranium that may, like in the terracotta pot, the big red flower, very pungent odor. We call those geraniums, but the actual genus is Pelargonium. It's completely unrelated to perennial geranium that has a pink flower that's in our garden. So that's why we have all these other names. Okay, up next. Light requirements. This is something you see on so many plant tags, right? And I just wanted to capture, apparently in more than one place, Kim, sorry about that. What these different categories of light requirements mean. So full sun is, that means that the plant really needs over 6 hours of direct sunlight. Part sun is where you have 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight, including afternoon, which is a much stronger amount of sunlight. And then part shade is when you get about that same amount, but it's more morning sun, which tends to be more slanted and less powerful. Full shade is when you're getting less than 4 hours of direct sunlight for those plants, just so people can pick the right plant for the right place in their yard. The other thing I wanted to mention is size matters. If people are looking for annuals to fill a container, it's good to look at the dimensions of the final mature plant size. Because if you plant for it to look full when they're baby plants, it's going to be a really big challenge to water when you get to August, right? Or if you take shrubs or trees and you're planting them too close to the to your house, you're going to end up with some challenges later on. So just encouraging and pointing out to people what the final size of the plant is a good thing to do as well. The new growing zone map. Is anyone familiar with this? Growing zones? So I've lived in seven and gardened in 7 states, and this is kind of how I track things. My favorite one was Maryland. That was a zone with 7, and we could have rosemary grow all winter outside. It was great. We had rosemary bushes. We can't do that here, but it is getting warmer. This is the latest map from 2023, and we have had zones shift upward. So essentially, that means we can grow plants here that it was too cold to grow plants here before. I did not say that well. If you can't tell I'm getting over a cold, my brain is a little fuzzy. Let me try that again. If you look on that picture, you can see the average annual extreme minimum temperature, right? And so when you look at the zones, the zone numbers, the lower the number, so zone 2B, -45 to -40, that's the coldest, and then zone 5 is warmer. So we're getting warmer. So that's just to say that we do have a zone 5 collection of plants, and that's something that customers might want to pay attention to as they're selecting plants at the sale to make sure that they select a plant that will probably do well in the area that they live, where the plants are being planted. Okay. Checking for questions, no questions. Oh, that's a good question. Is the ARB 5A? I think so. Yeah. It's interesting, it's not a perfect system when you go back and look at that map. It's not these tidy lines. Um, mhm.
There.
Are you using your mic, Kim?
Sorry, I should tell everybody. Minneapolis is 5A because it's, you get that residual heat from the city. So I think it is my impression that out here, on our 1,200 acres, we sort of fluctuate. between 4 and 5, depending on the weather of the year.
Yeah, you can see, I can't zoom in on this slide, but we're right on that margin right there. So yeah, that heat island effective development will probably be impacting us if it doesn't already. Other notes for the sale, you'll notice our pots look a little different, which is pretty neat. Sharon Pugh has found a source. She's the person who really she's the master of all of this, and has found a local source of compostable pot that we can use. So customers can take these pots and plant them directly in the ground. So there's little tabs on the side. I think it'll be clear when you look at the picture and even at the pots themselves. Just tearing off those sides and planting them directly will feed the plant and break down over the first year of its growth. So that's a pretty cool feature of our sale. People will probably ask about pesticides. And so the Arboretum isn't a year-round garden center. And we also, due to the variety of goals that we have as a research center and other things, we cannot guarantee that the plants at the sale are all certified organic or neonicotinoid free. So neonicotinoids is a particular class of insecticide that has been shown to be harmful to bees during a certain period of its application. And so a lot of people who are very focused on pollinators are looking for plants that are neonic is the shorthand. Neonicotinoid is quite a long word to say. Free. So we cannot guarantee that for the plants at the sale. But we can guarantee that the plants have been grown very carefully in as healthy a way as we can, and chemical application is just used as a last resort. And when we do so, we do it to the letter of the law very carefully. All right, some other terms that might confuse or you might be asked about. We have a lot of hybrid plants at the sale. And this is actually a really common thing. We don't actually have any genetically modified plants there, but that is something that people might jump to a conclusion about. People have been breeding plants for thousands of years, and hybridizing is, if you think about a mule, right? A horse and donkey cross that can't reproduce itself afterward. That's essentially what a hybrid plant is. So you get some extra vigor when you do that. There's sometimes more disease resistance with those plants, but they are not genetically modified organisms in the way that people may be thinking about them as customers. Heirloom plants might be something that people are looking for as well. And so what that means is essentially, to use another comparison, is it 25 years? Antique cars have to be 25 years old? Is that the way we use it? So heirloom plants have a similar thing where they're able to be freely pollinated or open pollinated and able to gather the seed from those plants season after season and get a reliable plant each time. So that's what heirloom plants are. They've just been around a long time and are a steady strain of a particular plant. All right, and then I thought we could kind of end with this. Is this my end one? Oh, it is. We have some resources here for you. All the receipts that people get with their purchases will have a QR code to that first link. Educational resources here. That's kind of a summary of extension websites, resources along with a few other things. The University of Minnesota's Extension Yard and Garden is a humongous resource for plants that you can direct people to. It has answers for almost anything. And then finally, Derek Carwood, my predecessor, thoughtfully put together an hour-long presentation that highlights some of the plant selections this year. So if you just want to kind of get to know a few of the plants that will be for sale this year. You can check out that video right there. So with that, I was just kind of wanting to see if you all had plant questions, knowing what you know now about the sale. Are there things you would ask as a customer or you'd want to know to share with anyone you come across? I thought we could do some questions.
I have one.
Yes.
I volunteered at Arbor Day and we were giving away pecan trees.
Mm-hmm.
People were very surprised when we go back to the zone question.
Mm-hmm.
They're, wondering if they could plant them, if they needed to, will they pollinate or produce nuts and do we have any pecan trees here on our block?
Sure. So the question is about pecan trees, which we were handing out as part of our Arbor Day celebration this past Saturday, and how many pecan trees you need to cross-pollinate. That is a good point. With the fruits that we have, fruit shrubs and fruit trees, sometimes need to have more than one of them to be able to actually pollinate and successfully grow fruit. So this is something where I don't have an answer right off the top of my head for pecans. And I do know when we think of pecans, we think of them growing further south, but it is something that they have been working on at the university to try to find hardy pecans, which is why I think we have them now. But even me with a master's in horticulture, what I'm going to do right now is get on my phone. And I do this, I have 392 students in Pro Hort this year. And we've been going through a whole framework of horticulture. And we have 2-hour Q&As every Tuesday night where they ask hundreds of questions. And so even I and the extension educators who do this with me go to the yard and garden to find answers like this. Uh-huh.
And you can definitely tell what zone a pecan tree is by the way the people that talk about it say the word pecan. In the south, it's pecan, right? Or pecan, or.
And there should be, and Kim helped me with this, there should be, there's Master Gardener volunteers who will be there, who will have ready answers for these kinds of things, as well as some staff. So if it's outside your scope of knowledge, you can point them toward one of those folks, because the Master Gardener volunteers are very well versed in answering questions like that. I do see there's something in the chat. Let's see what's going on there. Few questions. Orwell asks, if working on Thursday, do I enter off 82nd Street or at the main entrance at Highway 5?
For
Kim?
setup mornings, go ahead and access like you did in past years.
Okay. And then Martha says, not as a customer, access on setup mornings. Is this the same question, Kim? We're to report at 8 a.m. Can we access at the farm as in the past?
I'm sorry, I was answering Martha's question.
Oh, did we skip Orwell's?
You skip on this question. If working on Thursday, do I enter off of 82nd Street? Yeah, go ahead and enter off of 82nd Street. I don't believe that the new entrance will be open on Thursday. But you'll get an email from me next week confirming where you're to enter, unless you're set up. Set up just come through as usual. But yeah, I don't have the answers because even in the meeting this morning, they didn't have all the answers for me, so I'll pass them along as I get them.
Oh,
For those trees, I always told people that I didn't really know, but you need at least two trees to produce fruit, like that. If they're purchasing one here, it was useful.
Typically, yes, you need trees that can cross pollinate, but that's not always true.
If people were asking, trees, then there's no.
so there's some conversation going right now about cross-pollination with fruit trees online. And Kim, it sounds like you're a little hard to hear with the mic. Maybe, sure. So we had a question about parking too.
Gigi, did you want me to repeat something? And Craig, parking will be in the grassy overflow area. That is beyond the parking lots. And like I was saying, there will be a shuttle for volunteers. So if you park down there in the grassy area, you'll be shuttled up to the event lawns. And you'll get this information also in a PDF after this Zoom,
We should make a new map for that.
but probably early this evening because I got other stuff to do also after this Zoom.
Yeah.
Margaret just said pecan trees seem to need two different varieties, if that's still a question for pollinating. Gigi, where did you go? Was there something I said that you wanted to hear and you couldn't hear it? You could always email me.
I don't
I'm not able to
know,
talk or type
I
right
don't know
now.
what I was missing for those last few comments that
Gigi's talking.
Laura
I
didn't
can't hear a thing.
repeat.
Oh,
Turns out you are also hard to hear. Hang on 1 second.
oh, yeah.
Maybe adjust the volume.
Is
No.
it on my computer or is it on?
If you go to the Zoom microphone, not that one, like the general.
Here? Yep. Where is it?
Audio settings. And then turn up where's the input?
This is the speaker. Oh my gosh. See, it's on here. Oh my gosh. Here.
I love technology and then also hate it a little bit. Gigi, will you try again?
Okay. All right.
Well, this doesn't even say she's talking, so. How about type it in the chat? Okay. Well,
Okay. I think that's all I had.
if you have more questions and questions come up, please email me and I will forward them to whoever knows the answer if it's not me. Please expect to get a Zoom recording in case you missed anything. I will also attach a PDF of the stuff that volunteers need to know about parking, about what to wear, about where to check in, about wearing your name badge, all that stuff. So you will get a recap of this if you missed it. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a great plant sale this year. And I'm particularly excited that it's not gonna be swelteringly hot. We should all be fairly comfy. Hey, folks online and in person, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Thanks for making time today.